Hi everybody! So today we're going to be making a snow globe tumbler. These are done with acrylic double wall tumblers. So you need your acrylic double wall tumbler of choice. I'm using one of these today. Sometimes I do use the Starbucks ones. There are different brands you can use. You just kind of find what works for you. I found that these are really great along with the Starbucks ones. So we're going to use that. We're going to use a pink mica powder. For our glitter, we're going to use Blushing Bride from Counterculture. We're going to use sprinkles. We're going to use Tropical Passion. You need some baby oil, or you can use distilled water. It depends on the flow that you want the cup to be. We're going to be using a drill. We need some UV resin. This is the Counterculture 16-ounce bottle. It's massive and I love it. And then you need the Counterculture UV light. We're going to use that as well. So very first thing, you can take your lid off. You don't need that at all. And the first thing we're going to do is just drill a hole in our tumbler. I actually like to drill two because this helps us get the air bubbles out. So first thing you want to do is drill your hole. I like to drill them off to the side, one on each side. So I kind of broke the bottom a little bit. That's okay. We can salvage it. I will show you how we will do that. Actually, I completely broke the bottom of it. I went too fast. Let me see. Okay, so it looks like it's completely broken. You can go ahead and use it because we're going to seal this entire bottom. It's just a slight crack right there, and we're actually going to be covering the bottom in UV resin, so it's okay. You can put a second hole if you want. You don't have to. Because of how big the hole is, I'm not going to. So this shows you a little uh-oh and how to fix it. They can be very temperamental, so you just got to figure out what works for you. I'm going to place a piece of tape just right here. Just kind of helps prevent me from losing any glitter or any mica. First, I'm going to start by throwing in my sprinkles. And because the hole is pretty big already, it's going to be pretty easy. You just pour a bunch in, however many you'd like. I did put a decent amount in there. I try and get as many off the tape as well too. I don't want to waste any. If you do 2 holes, it helps to get the air bubbles out faster, but you don't have to do 2 holes. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. My apologies, you hear my cat meowing in the background. Can never do a tutorial without him doing that. Next, we're going to go in with our glitter. We're using Blushing Bride. You can pour as little or as much as you'd like into the cup. I like a decent amount, so I will throw in a decent amount. Some people I know use as much as an ounce in their cups. I don't think you need to use that much, but you can use however much you'd like. You can see I have a really decent amount of sprinkles and glitter. And next we're going to go in with our mica powder. Again, I'm going to try and keep it as much in the hole as possible. You don't need a lot of mica. This just helps color the liquid a little bit. That's the one thing I really love about it. You just put some in. Now we can actually take our tape off. I like to try and get as much off of there as possible with that tape. I do apologize for the animals in the background. Just had to kick them out because they're making too much noise. Now we're going to go in with our baby oil. Some people use a syringe. I personally just pour it right in. Oh, this is my older bottle, my new bottle, my unopened bottle. Make sure you grab your open bottle. And here I just almost like aim and pour it in. Ooh, my hand's shaking from all the squeezing. Now it's not filled all the way yet, but one thing you can do is like wipe off if you get a little bit of baby oil on it. You can just wipe it off, and that's what I'm going to do. Because I like to get I want to get all of the glitter and everything mixed up well with that baby oil. Wipe up my spot here. And you just kind of give it a little swirl. Make sure everything's mixing in really well. You can see it's already starting to look really pretty. Just give it a good swirl. Everything will start coming loose. You want to swirl it, not shake it, because that's going to help prevent bubbles. You want as little bubbles in here as okay, so we're pretty close to the very top. Here I just kind of keep moving it, get those bubbles out. And that is about as full as I'm going to make it because I want to show you how we're going to seal it. First thing you want to do is get a paper towel. And you want a little bit of rubbing alcohol because you're going to clean this up really well so you don't have any baby oil on it on the outside. So just get your paper towel wet with some baby oil. Not with some rubbing alcohol, my apologies. And you want to clean that really well. Just make sure you have it nice and cleaned off. No baby oil, so it's not going to be slippery. You want our UV resin to really be able to adhere to this. But I'm going to show you a trick as well. After you wipe it off with the rubbing alcohol, you really want to make sure you dry it off very well. So I'm just really being thorough, making sure it's fully dried and cleaned off. Now, one thing I have here is actually UV tape. You can get it in white. For the purpose of this cup, I'm just going to show you what we're going to do with it. So you're going to cut. If you make your hole too big like I did, you can go ahead and do this way because it's going to help seal your tumbler without having to use a crazy amount of UV resin and trying to get it formed fully. So you just want to cut a small square. And we're going to hide the color of this with the mica powder anyways. So here you want to make sure this is really dry. Normally I would just seal this with UV resin. I'd go right over the hole and then I would go over the entire bottom with UV resin. But we're going to do it a little differently because I had a little and I'm going to show you how we fix that. So you put this piece of UV resin tape right over the hole. Now, I can feel that it's not sticking, and that is because it's still not fully clear of the baby oil on the bottom. So you get a fresh paper towel and you just clean one more time. And then we will be able to seal it. When you're working with baby oil, it can be very finicky, so you just want to really make sure it's nice and thorough. Make sure you're nice and thorough with your cleaning process on the bottom. And that goes for the entire tumbler as well. You hear that squeaky sound? Now it's nice and clean. So now we can go in with a piece of that UV tape. Just using kind of a small piece that just covers it because that's going to help the process. And now we're going to go in with our UV resin. Keep my UV lamp ready to go as I'm pouring the UV resin on because I want it to cure very fast. So we're just going to go right around where the paper is. We cure that right away. This is going to ensure that the entire cup is sealed. And it's already nice and cured. Perfect, just like we want. You can hear it. Let it cure just a little bit longer. I like to re-wipe the bottom again to ensure that it is nice and dry for my next coat of UV resin. So you can see that piece of UV tape there, and it's not going to be a problem after our next step. You're not going to see it. You can hear that's nice and cured. That's what you want. Again, making sure this is fully clean. You notice I do that a lot because I want to be very thorough and make sure that stays like that. So now I'm going to grab a medicine cup. And what you want to do is add a little bit of mica powder. Just a little bit. A little bit of our blushing bride. Just a little bit. This is going to cover the bottom. And now we're going to add our UV resin into that. You could pour like the mica and the glitter on here and then just add your resin, but I feel like it's a longer process that way. And if you make too much of the bottom mixture, you can always just throw this in a mold specifically for UV resin, and then you have a quick mold. Now we just gently mix this all together. You don't want to create too many bubbles, so you just gently fold it all in. And then what you do is you pour it right on the entire bottom. This is going to cover that little blue tint on the UV tape. You can use other liquids to fill your snow globe tumblers. You can use distilled water. Some people use water and glycerin. Other people use, what else do they use? Glue and water. I just found that I really love the baby oil mixture. The distilled water technique is great, but I don't like that it settles faster than anything else. So I go for this technique. So you can see the bottom is going to be that nice pretty covered color. Covers our blue sticker. And now we just cure this again with our UV resin, with our UV lamp. You hold the button in, it keeps it on until you are ready to turn it off. I like to check on it, make sure it's curing. You can hear it's curing. Still needs a little bit more time though. And now you have a beautiful snow globe tumbler. We have our fruit slices. Look at that color. You can see the fruit slices in there. And one thing I like to do is I like to add drips to the top of mine. Similar to how like I did in our last tutorial, I did that drip. I would do something like that on here and just make it nice and fun. Obviously, because if I'm holding it, you're gonna see all the air bubbles. It just goes right there. It happens, but you know, it's always fun. This is just a very fun cup to do, especially this is like a fun kids project you can do, and then the adults can do the UV resin part so that the kids don't have to. Look at all of our fruit. And we have the bottom all nice and cured. You can't even see the tape. And there you have it. If you try this out, make sure you post it in the counterculture group. Bye.